Hey, what's good, y'all? Convo Kingz back with another video. We got Witty Joey here also with us. Today we're going to talk about the NFC North. They're going to be doing some predictions and some conversations on that. But anyway, let's go ahead and pass it over to... I think I'm going to pass it to Smurfy.
About time. I get my time in the sunlight and moderate this because last time it was out of hand. Anyway,
All right, let's go ahead and talk about something else. No, I'm just kidding.
The conversation. Okay. Bucko, buddy, pal. Any other predominantly white saying I can't think of? Anyway, we're talking about the NFC North today. So, starting it off, I would like to bring up. So that includes if people do watch football like Fusion over here. NFC North consists of the Vikings, the Lions, the Bears, and the Packers. All four of those teams were at one point considered bottom of the not bottom, but struggling in their own rights or ways. Whether the Packers if Aaron Rodgers is going to stay or not, who officially has gone to the Jets now, and Jordan Love's the starter. The Lions, who were honestly a fun team to watch last year, are poised to win the division potentially with the pieces they've added over the offseason. Then you have the Bears, which people are on like a Fields mania right now is in full effect. And then you also have the Vikings, which are just there because they have Justin Jefferson. For me, I'm keeping it pretty simple. My number one team is easily the Lions. I think they had one of the best offenses last year. They were dropping like 30, 40 points. If they can figure out their defensive situation, which they had a Jack Campbell, so that should help, then they will be a top team this year. That's going to be definitely a contender for maybe even like making a deep run in the NFC playoffs. 2, I'm going to have the Vikings just because they have Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison there, and I don't think there'll be a big drop-off with Alexander Mattison instead of Dalvin Cook. And then I will have the Packers at number 3, which honestly I would be tempted to switch depending on how Jordan Love does. If he does like he did in the preseason and he can do that in the regular season, they're going to be good. But I'll have them at 3 for now, and then my 4th team will be the Bears because I'm just not fully bought in yet on that offense, and DJ Moore is not truly a number 1 receiver, so I think they need another piece before I can really commit to that. But they could be a pretty exciting team to watch this year, but that's kind of how I have my 4. Woody, Joey, what's your thoughts?
So me, I'm gonna reverse it from you. I'm gonna start from bottom. I expect Justin Fields to take a big leap from from last year to this year, but I don't expect him to really win the division. So I'm gonna keep them down at 4. I expect big production from DJ Moore, Khalil Herbert, and who else? And the running back they got from Texas,
Roschon Johnson.
Roschon Johnson. Little work behind Bijan at UT, so I expect to see that two-headed monster do a lot of work this year. My 3rd team, I'm going to have to go with the Vikings right now. I saw Marcus Davenport the last 3-4 years in New Orleans. He didn't impress me, and the Vikings are going to be relying a lot on him and Hunter to have a bounce back year. I think the offense is going to be fine without Dalvin Cook. I like that coordinator they got, Luca Connell, or that's the coach. I think he's calling the plays if I'm not mistaken, and getting another threat to take off the pressure off of JJ. So now you can't double team him. I'm not a big fan of the Hawkinson trade. I mean, he was definitely better than Irv Smith, which honestly isn't really saying much in my opinion. Because what is it? The reason Detroit traded him because he's a drop guy, but I don't know. He had his career year in Minnesota, so we'll see. I know they decided not to keep Dalvin Cook, but honestly, his cap hit and the holes they have off the on the defensive side of the ball, it just made sense to go ahead and let him go. So we'll see. And I think I can't remember the name of the running back they've had this preseason, but he looks okay. But Alexander Madison's hurt, so I guess I'll have them at 3. Packers, I'm placing the Packers at 2 because I think everybody's Aaron Jones, Christian Watson's gonna look good. Romeo Dobbs has been looking like the best receiver in training camp, from what the reports have been saying. Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon, that's a two-headed monster. That tight end they got, Luke Musgrave. I don't know if I said his name right. Um, he's looking like he's gonna be a stud too. So I'm gonna have them at 2, and I'm with you on number 1. I think Detroit's gonna win the division this year, man. With that good offensive line coming back. Jared Goff was playing some of his best football last year. On top of that, they finally, honestly, top 10 QB, if we're being honest. What is it? They addressed the cornerback situation, in my opinion, and I expect Hutchinson to take a huge step this year. So I'm taking them. And then the Jahmyr Gibbs. I didn't like the fact they let Swift go. I thought they could have at least maybe. You still could have drafted Gibbs and done a Swift and had a two-headed monster back there. But then Amon St. Brown, I like him. Sleeper. Very sleeper receiver right there. All right, then pass it to you, Vegas.
I mean, I think this division is kind of hard to predict, just because these teams are going through like big ups and downs and big changes for all of them. The Bears are just realizing that Justin Fields is a good player, so they're trying to build around him. The Lions are realizing they have a really good offense, so they're trying to build that up and try to build their defense. Packers are still trying to figure out if Jordan Love's that guy, so this is the season for Jordan Love to finally like have a full start. And the Vikings, like, I can't predict these teams mainly because all their defenses are like straight trash. So this division can be like up and down, but in terms of like what I think is like bottom tier, I still have to go with like, I would say the Packers. Well, I mean, I would have to go with I have to go with the Packers just because there's a reason why Jordan Love has been sitting out for this long, and he hasn't really got a starting position. And what we've seen so far, it hasn't been standout-ish, or it hasn't been like amazing. But I think only reason I think they're like in the bottom is because the other teams are actually contending for something. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Packers do get, say, like second, because the Bears and the Lions are in a transition to I guess an actual good team. So there could be a surprise where we see the Bears and Lions go back to them being what they usually are, and that's trash. So, but going based off of what they did last year, I do want to put Lions at number 1, just because I think they're that team. They have a real good shot. They had a really good offense. They were very explosive. They were very fun to watch, and a lot of people are hyping up the Lions to be that team. And I really want the Lions to do well this year because, shoot, I want to watch the Lions do well because I never seen them do well. So I put Lions at number 1. I put the Vikings at number 2 just because they have Justin Jefferson, and I don't think Kirk Cousins is that bad of a QB. And I think the Vikings have somewhat of just one issue, and that's mainly their secondary that they were trying to fix. And then I'll flip-flop between the Bears and the Packers just because I'm not sure if Justin Fields has enough around him. So I'll just put Bears at 3 and I'll put Packers last. So that's kind of my order of like predicting of what's going on with that division. But again, this is like a really flip-floppy division because we have no idea what's going on with these teams, because this year is gonna like kind of solidify what they're gonna do with these like QBs.
Okay. I respect everybody's opinion on it. So definitely, it all makes sense. So it is like a division that is one of those ones that's just going to come down to who makes the least mistakes, who clicks the fastest, who's able to capitalize on players making big jumps like Justin Fields. To me, the main factor will be Justin Fields versus Jordan Love, as well as I think that'll be the main factor as how this kind of shakes out would be those two, because if the Packers, their defense is probably the best in that division. They had a down year last year, but like they were kind of beat up. So I mean, if Jordan Love can be like just even like maybe average, maybe slightly above average this year, that would be the factor for me.
Yeah, they could be like 2 in the division. I wouldn't be surprised if they win division either, or as well. So
Yeah,
that's
and
kind
then
of
the Bears.
for me.
And the Bears, of course, have to wait to see if Fields can put it together. We saw flashes last year, but they didn't win many games because of it. So
Yeah,
that's like another thing. So that'd be the main. Those would be the that to me is the kind of factor in the division. I mean, the Lions, I think will just be good. Only those are the 2 wild cards though, because I mean, realistically speaking, I expect the Lions to be in the playoffs this year. I expect the Vikings to be in the hunt at least, because they don't have a good defense, but they have one of the best like offensive weapons in the league. Maybe even 2 with Jordan Addison now added. And then KJ Osborne's, he's a low-key dog. So honestly, it'll be good to see how that shapes out. I'll be watching that closely because I did enjoy watching the Lions last year, and I love Dan Campbell. So really excited about it. Any more final thoughts on it? Woody, Joey, Vegas?
I got nothing. This division was pretty simple because there's nothing really to like predict. There's no like wild takes on this division because we can't really predict what's going to really happen.
Woody?
Nah, wild take is any of them could win it.
Yeah, anyone can win it. This one.
And we'll have to see in the division. That covers the NFC North. So I think we're going to cover next video will be NFC South. Unless Fusion, you got something to say?
No, like, comment, subscribe.